You're tired. Maybe you don't even know exactly why, but you feel it. It's like you're dragging around this invisible weight, as if it's your responsibility to keep everything together, to keep everyone happy, to avoid conflict, always be polite, smile, nod, listen. You learned early on that being a good person was the right thing to do, that if you were kind, people would be kind back, that the good ones win in the end, that being fair, honest, and humble would earn you respect. But what if I told you that's a lie? Not a malicious one, but a comfortable lie. A story told to make you obedient, predictable, easy to control. Let me ask you something. How many times have you kept quiet to keep the peace? How many times have you held back what you really wanted to say just so no one would feel uncomfortable? How often have you let someone cross the line, disrespect you, use you, and still you smiled and said, "It's fine, really"? You swallowed your pride, your frustration, your tears, all in the name of being good. But let's be honest now, did it help? Did they respect you more? Did they treat you better? Or did they just take more? Here's the truth. The world doesn't reward nice people. It rewards strategic people. If you're watching this, it's probably because you've already started to notice this. You felt the frustration of constantly giving, only to be overlooked. You've seen how the more you try to be accepted, the less you're respected. The more you give, the more people expect. And the more understanding you are, the more they take advantage. This is where Machiavelli steps in, not as a villain, but as one of the first people to say it out loud. Morality without realism is a trap. Being seen as good is not the same as being effective. Being fair doesn't mean you'll be treated fairly. Being humble doesn't guarantee recognition. And being kind won't always earn you kindness back. In this video, we're going to talk honestly, no filters, no sugarcoating, about why trying to be a good person all the time might actually be ruining your life. And no, I'm not saying to become cruel or cold. I'm saying wake up. It's time to wake up from the fantasy that the world is fair and that if you just do the right thing, everything will magically work out. It's time to stop being a hostage to your own kindness. Because if you're tired of being overlooked, used, and discarded, maybe it's time to try something different. Let's begin. Still think the world values kindness above all else? Look around. Who gets the spotlight? Who leads? Who's respected, followed, admired? Is it the most generous person? The most forgiving? The kindest? Or is it the people who are clear, assertive, and difficult to manipulate? Let's be blunt. This world is not run by kindness. It's run by utility. And Machiavelli saw that clearly. He didn't write The Prince to teach evil. He wrote it to reveal the game. And one of the harshest lessons in that book? Being good is not enough. You can spend your whole life being loyal, honest, kind-hearted. You can give your best to people without asking for anything in return. But the moment you stop being useful to them, you're out, forgotten, replaced. And worst of all, they won't even feel bad about it, because the world doesn't measure your worth by your morals. It measures it by your impact, by what you can do, and how you appear. The nice guy is always chasing, always explaining, always trying to prove, hey, I'm one of the good ones. But the ones who get respected, they set boundaries. They say no. They walk into a room and own it. Why? Because blind kindness is interpreted as weakness. And people don't respect weakness, they use it. If you never push back, if you never stand your ground, people start to see you as a tool, not a person, as a resource, not a presence. You can give your entire soul trying to please people, but if you don't carry power, if people don't believe you have the ability to say no or walk away, then you will always be the one getting stepped on. Machiavelli famously said, "It is better to be feared than loved if you cannot be both." And what he meant was, true respect comes from the belief that you are not someone to be messed with, that you're not fragile, that you're not someone who can be dismissed or replaced. So what does that mean for you? It means this: as long as your mission is to please everyone, you'll always be stuck in the role of the agreeable one, the forgettable one, not because you're not a good person, but because this world doesn't reward people who disappear to keep others happy. Now let's go deeper. Why do we even do this to ourselves? Why do we try so hard to be the good one all the time? Here's the uncomfortable answer: because we were trained to. You weren't born a people pleaser. That was taught. That was conditioned. From a young age, you were told, don't do that, it's rude. Be nice. Don't talk back. Always be polite. And slowly you learned. Being accepted comes with a cost. Smile when you don't want to. Stay quiet when you disagree. Put others before yourself, even when it hurts. And you did it because it made you feel safe. Because when you pleased others, you were loved. When you were angry or selfish, you were punished. Maybe not directly, but emotionally. So your mind adapted. You learned that survival meant submission. But now, you're not that child anymore. And that same survival strategy is suffocating you. You say yes when you want to scream no. You put on the happy face while something inside you aches. You feel responsible for everyone's emotions, even if it's killing you slowly. But let's be clear, this isn't kindness anymore. It's fear. Fear of rejection, fear of not being enough, fear of being seen as selfish or too much. You think you're being empathetic, but you're just afraid of confrontation. You think you're being understanding, but you're just afraid of being left. You think you're being kind, but you're just scared of showing your real self. And that fear, it's costing you everything. Let's pause here. If this resonates with you, if something deep inside is nodding along, then you're ready. You're ready for part 2, where we go even deeper. We're going to look at how to break this cycle, how to stop wearing the mask, how to reclaim your strength and stop being a passive background character in your own life. There's a reason you feel lost when you stop being the nice one, because that role, it became your identity. You don't know who you are without it, and it makes sense. You've spent years, maybe your entire life, being the reliable one, the calm one, the understanding one. That was how you survived, how you earned love, how you kept people close. But here's the truth. That version of you, the one who puts everyone else first, is not the real you. It's a mask, a carefully constructed image you built to feel safe. And it's time to take it off. Because deep down you already know. This act is killing you. You're not living, you're managing. Managing expectations. Managing people's emotions. Constantly walking on eggshells, trying to avoid conflict. Trying not to be too much, too difficult, too demanding. But you're exhausted. And that exhaustion, it's not because you're weak. It's because you've been strong in all the wrong ways. You've been strong for others, but never for yourself. You've tolerated things that broke your heart. You've smiled through pain. You've sacrificed your needs to maintain harmony for people who wouldn't do the same for you. And the worst part, you don't even realize how much of yourself you've erased, because the world claps for nice people. They cheer when you're the bigger person. They call you so kind, so sweet, so humble. But it's a trap, because what they really mean is you're easy to control. Here's where Machiavelli comes back in. People get it twisted. They think Machiavelli was about being evil. He wasn't. He was about being effective. He wrote The Prince to open our eyes to how the real world works, not how we wish it worked. He said something that punches through the lies we were raised on. Everyone sees what you appear to be. Few experience what you really are. Let that sink in. People don't respond to your intentions. They respond to your image, your presence, your ability to command space, to be seen, to be heard. You might have the purest heart in the world, but if people see you as weak, they will treat you as weak. And if you want to be respected, you need to start thinking strategically, not emotionally. You need to ask yourself, how am I showing up in the world? Am I commanding presence or begging for approval? Am I setting standards or just hoping people will be fair? Because here's the hard truth. Most people don't want you to be strong. They want you to stay predictable, safe, easy. So the moment you start saying no, the moment you stop over-explaining, the moment you begin prioritizing yourself, they say, you've changed. You're being selfish. You're not who you used to be. Good, that's the point. Because who you used to be, that version of you was breaking inside. That version was quietly suffering, hoping someone would notice, hoping the world would reward your goodness. But the world doesn't reward quiet sacrifice. It rewards power, strategy, boundaries. So how do you start becoming that person? Not a fake version, not a cruel one, not a villain, but someone who is kind with a spine. Let me break it down. 1. Learn to say no without guilt. This is the most powerful skill you'll ever develop. And no, it doesn't have to come with a long explanation. A calm, "No, I'm not available for that," is enough. That sentence alone can change your life, because people respect what you don't tolerate, not what you always allow. 2. Stop apologizing for existing. You don't owe people an apology for having needs, opinions, emotions, or space. The moment you stop over-apologizing for things that don't need apologies, you reclaim your dignity. Try this. Replace sorry with thank you. Instead of saying, "Sorry, I'm late," say, "Thank you for waiting." It flips the power dynamic without being rude. 3. Watch who's uncomfortable when you stand up for yourself. This is important. When you start changing, you'll trigger people who benefited from your silence. If someone is upset that you're finally setting boundaries, that says everything about the relationship. They weren't loving you. They were loving what you gave them. And now that it's not free, they're upset. Let them go. 4. Stop trying to be understood by everyone. Not everyone will get it. Not everyone will support your transformation. That's okay. You're not here to live someone else's version of you. You don't owe anyone an explanation for your healing. 5. Replace the need to be liked with the desire to be respected. Being liked is a shallow game. People like you as long as you don't challenge them. Respect, though, that's deeper. Respect comes when people know you have a voice, a backbone, standards. And that kind of respect, it starts with you. When you stop tolerating what drains you, when you stop hiding your truth, when you stop begging for crumbs, you start to respect yourself. And that energy, it radiates. People feel it. Machiavelli didn't tell us to be cruel. He told us to stop being naive. He told us that in a world full of wolves, kindness without strength is just bait. If you're constantly being used, it's not because you're too nice. It's because your niceness is unprotected. So the question is your kindness protecting you or exposing you? Because if your idea of being good means accepting mistreatment, staying silent in the face of disrespect, or pretending you're okay just to keep the peace, you're not being good, you're being dominated, and you're betraying yourself. But there is another way, a middle path where you don't have to become heartless, but you also don't have to beg for basic respect. A path where you can still be kind, but on your terms, where you can still care, but without self-erasure. And that's what we'll talk about next. So here's where many people make a mistake. After years of being nice and getting nothing back, they snap. They swing to the other extreme. They try to become cold, closed off, ruthless. Like, if being good got me hurt, then I'll never care again. But that's not strength. That's pain talking. That's trauma pretending to be power. You're not actually becoming stronger. You're just hiding deeper, behind a tougher mask. And that's not freedom. That's just another cage. Real power comes from being whole. Not good, not bad, not a performance. Real. When you become real, you stop being afraid of disappointing people. You stop shrinking yourself to fit someone else's expectations. You stop being the character others like and start being the author of your own life. You stop needing to be accepted by everyone and start respecting yourself first. Let's talk about what that actually looks like. First, your voice matters. Use it. You've been trained to think that setting boundaries is rude, that saying what you want is selfish, that asserting yourself is too much. But that's a lie designed to keep you small. You speaking your truth doesn't make you bad. It makes you visible. It makes you whole. It tells the world, I exist and I am not here to disappear for your comfort. You don't need to raise your voice. You just need to stop silencing it, because staying quiet to be liked is still self-abandonment. Second, start saying no like it's a full sentence. No is not a betrayal. No is not unkind. No is self-respect in action. You don't need to explain. You don't need to apologize. When you say no clearly, calmly, and without guilt, something shifts. People start treating you differently. Because now, you're not just kind. You have standards. And that scares people who benefited from your lack of them. Third, pay attention to who gets upset when you change. This is your biggest clue. When you start speaking up, setting limits, or simply doing less than before, you'll notice a shift. Some people will push back. They'll say, "You've changed. You're not who you used to be. You're selfish now." And they're right. You have changed. You're no longer making yourself smaller so they can feel bigger. They're not reacting to who you are now. They're reacting to the fact that they lost the version of you who never said no. Take note of those people. Let them reveal themselves, because they never loved the real you. They loved your compliance. Fourth, stop trying to be everyone's savior. You are not responsible for everyone's happiness. You are not a therapist, not an emotional crutch, not a free counselor. Every time you say yes to fix someone else's mess, ask yourself, is this love or is this fear? Because often we help out of guilt. We overgive because we're afraid of being abandoned. But real relationships are not built on guilt. They're built on mutual respect. And if someone only keeps you close because of what you give them, not because of who you are, then it's not love, it's dependence. Fifth, replace the craving for approval with a commitment to authenticity. When you live for approval, you're a prisoner. Because no matter what you do, someone will be unhappy, someone will judge, someone will leave. That's life. But when you live for authenticity, you become untouchable. You don't need validation. You give it to yourself. You become free. You can be kind without being weak. You can be generous without being naive. You can be understanding without being used. And that's the balance Machiavelli really talked about. He never said, be evil. He said, be effective. Be strategic. Be respected. Be someone others can't manipulate with guilt. He wrote, a man who wishes to act entirely virtuously soon meets with what destroys him among so many who are not virtuous. It's true. If you try to live as the perfect good person in a world where people lie, cheat, and exploit, your goodness will be your downfall. So instead of being blindly good, be powerfully good. The kind of good that doesn't beg, that doesn't kneel, that doesn't get walked over. Let me ask you something. When was the last time you said no without guilt? When was the last time you walked away from something that didn't serve you? When was the last time you looked in the mirror and said, I matter too? If it's been a while, that's okay. This is where it begins. This is your moment, the turning point. You can keep being the version of you that's easy to like, easy to forget, easy to use, or you can become the version of you that's respected, heard, remembered. Not because you yelled, not because you hurt people, but because you finally showed up as yourself. You stopped asking for permission to exist. You stopped living for others. You chose to be free. So let me leave you with this. The world doesn't need more people pleasers. It needs people with presence, people who speak with intention, people who love without losing themselves, people who are kind but no longer for sale. If this spoke to you, tell me in the comments, when did you realize that being nice was destroying you? When did you decide to change? Because someone else out there needs to hear it. Someone who's still stuck in that same emotional prison. You could be the spark that helps them wake up too. And if this video helped you see things differently, don't stop here. Watch the next one. Trust me, it's going to change how you walk through the world.